All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone who do rule and teach well. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, peace and blessing salutations as always to the hopefully elect out there. Listening and learning, you sincere, Hakim, Wa'akwad, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahweh Shai, occupying the prophecies and faith until all is fulfilled, and Lord will, we are redeemed. So back in the news, going into this big beautiful bill, all right, we're going to tap into this through the spirit with a few things I have lined up, all right, and dealing with this whole thing, it's been a lot of controversy. I think last night in the Senate, they passed it through. But now with I think it's the Republicans or something like that, they're trying to hold it back for some odd reason. But even if this right here doesn't go through, they've already set the groundwork to bring something else in the future. All right, but we'll see what happens with this BBB. But what we'll get into today through the spirit is that this thing right here, this is the Project 2025, all right, that Trump was boasting in, okay, which that whole Project 2025, it goes into the Great Reset, and this is basically to usher in this new technological world. Okay, this is why when Trump first came in, you saw who behind him, these technocrats, all right, the likes of Gates, the likes of Elon Musk, who he's allegedly feuding with now. Now he's talking about he going sick ice on Elon Musk. You see, which is all political theater, but these things are happening to throw people off. But going back to the point of the Project 2025, this is not good for especially for you Jakes first and foremost, because that's really who these things are targeted at. But even down to the average everyday Edomite, all right, to these heathens that are in America, they're going to suffer behind this as well. We've been seeing rapidly since 2020 to where these elites, they've been rapidly chipping away at the middle class, really to the point now inflation has gotten so high to where there is no middle class. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much now rich and poor. And with this big beautiful bill, that gap is about to get even wider. All right, and this is all really for what? What is the end goal of all this? That he may cause all to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Okay, this is where this is all going. All right, the hour of temptation, which the scriptures speak about, we in those times. All right, so matter of fact, yeah, let's start off right here in Psalms 64th chapter. All right, because these things that are being brought forth, this was all devised, this was all planned out a very long time ago. All right, this is Psalm 64 in verse 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O Yahweh, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, which the wicked would be Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. Job 9:24 said that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who rules the earth? The so-called white man. Okay. So this wicked here is speaking about the elites. All right. The elites of Edom. Okay. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Bilderbergers. All right. You'll hear people such as Alex Jones in the mainstream media, they'll speak on these individuals as the globalists, right? But over here, we're going to say names, man, because you got to know what's going on and who these people really go back to, all right? The synagogue of Satan. But continuing on, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, all right? And the scripture that says, it had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Yeah, these devils are speaking bitter words. All right, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them in the heart. is deep. So this is not anything new. All right, this is just the new version of what they've planned a long time ago. But just know that this is not good. Okay, and even now, you have these, Republicans and Democrats. They going back and forth. And it's all political theater. Both of them are aligned for the same ideals, but they can't, just make it seem like that. They have to put some illusion and some type of deception in there to throw people off, so that it looks like, oh, they really are trying to figure something out. All right, but they all got the same goal. All right, you can go back to the regime of Joe Biden and look at how Trump is now cleaning up the mess. You know what I'm saying? Biden opened the floodgates for these migrants to come through. Millions of people, hundreds of millions, came over the border. And now the solution is to what? Oh, we need to bring in ICE. We need to deputize armed militias. We need to implement more surveillance because, all these T attacks are happening and there's threats of sleeper cells on American soil. Anything could go down, so we don't know. Now we got to, set up a more safe and secure world. All right. That was all a okie doke set up by the Biden regime. Now Trump is coming in with what he's coming in, this whole BBB and all of that, man. So both of these sides work in tandem together. They're not against each other. They're together. Two wings on the same damn eagle. And they flying towards the same direction, which is the NWO. All right. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which is the Western Roman Empire, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All right, the Western Roman Empire. So, those two horns. The Democrat Republican Party. Echoing in resemblance to the same thing of what they had in ancient Rome as well. The plebeians and the patricians. It was like the same thing, but he spake as a dragon. Okay, these devils are speaking very harsh words, but they're packaging it, Salakia, packaging it to you in a way that would seem beneficial if you don't know what's going on. Okay, so now, right, check this out, because I did this. Just went to Google and I typed in how the big beautiful bill will affect Americans. So it says right here, the Big Beautiful Bill, formerly known as the One Big Beautiful Act, is a comprehensive piece of legislation that includes tax cuts, spending increases on border security and defense, and cuts to social safety nets. Its primary goal is to make the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent and expand them while also increasing military and border spending. The bill is largely funded by cuts to healthcare and food programs. Check that out. And it is estimated to increase the national debt by trillions of dollars over the next decade. So let's stop right there, right? This big beautiful bill, right? Just look at the name of it. This is supposed to be something that's big, is grandiose, is ambitious and beautiful, right? That's what Trump has named this thing, right? But when you actually go into, I believe it's 904 pages of this actual document, it's really nothing but mischief that's inside there. Okay, and again, this all goes into the Project 2025, what he was talking about. All right, but the point on the bill is largely funded by cuts to healthcare and food programs. So this devil is pretty much giving you the middle finger. All right, F you, and he's going into what? Border security and defense, military spending increases. So this man getting ready for war. And we told you that this was coming, all right, because Esau's blessing is the sword. So when it all comes down to the wire, he's going to go with what he knows, which is the sword, death, bloodshed, being at war. That's what he loves, okay? And all of what the people was getting with social programs or taking care of them, again, middle finger, all right? We going towards war because, look at what Esau got going on. He has multiple war fronts that are opening up. So all that money that's going towards taking care of people and their families and subsidizing this and that, that's about to be cut. All right. So check this out. Tax cuts. The bill would make permanent the individual and business tax cuts enacted in 2017, potentially leading to significant tax relief for some, which is the rich. All right. The rich are going to get major tax cuts, but disproportionately benefiting higher income individuals and businesses. Okay, so those that are in the 1% and the corporations are going to benefit from these tax cuts. But the middle class and the poor are going to get hit. So you see what's going on, right? Again, this is how he's going to cause all, because right now people are falling behind on their mortgage, their cars getting repossessed, they can barely afford groceries, and we talking people that have good, excellent credit. This is happening to. You see? So if that's happening to middle class Americans, what about the poor? The poor are barely getting by, if at all. Eviction notices, evictions are at an all-time high. All right, people are down to the last dollar, man, literally. So these tax cuts are about to make it even worse. Groceries, inflation is about to go through the roof. Gas, everything. We're gonna get into it. Healthcare, okay, which is another thing. The bill includes cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Marketplaces potentially leading to millions more Americans losing health insurance coverage and impacting hospitals and healthcare facilities. And this is going to lead to what? More death. All right. And I can only imagine, because I have a coworker of mine, his mother, she's going through some health problems and things of that nature, and she's in the hospital. And he was asking me the other day, because he's originally from New York, but he was asking me the other day, if he can transfer the New York Medicaid benefits out here to Maryland. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, well, it's federal, so you should be able to. You know what I mean? But at the same time, with this big beautiful bill, his mom is probably not even gonna have any Medicaid to use anyway. All right, and from what he told me, she's in super critical condition, man. So she needs that. But with this thing coming in, I mean, for a lot of people, that's in that position, they about to lose out, and it's gonna be a lot of death, behind this thing, man. All right, so this dude Esau is very wicked, man. Okay, he don't care about the people, you know. Deuteronomy 28 says that the Lord would send against us a nation of fierce countenance that would not regard the young nor the old. And that's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. This is that cruel Lord spoken of in Isaiah the 19th chapter. Medicaid. The bill would impose work requirements on some Medicaid recipients and reduce funding for the program, potentially impacting access to health care for low-income individuals and families. State and local tax SALT deductions. The bill would increase the cap on the SALT deduction for a limited time, which would primarily benefit residents of high tax states. National debt. The bill is projected to significantly increase the national debt, with estimates ranging from 2.5 trillion to 3.8 trillion over the next decade. So this how you know that this economy is on the way out, man, because this bill is gonna rapidly and exponentially increase to already, what is it, like 35 trillion or 36 trillion now. So you're gonna add another 2.5 to 3.8 trillion to that deficit, man. So also people's 401ks about to be wiped out, because once these, because the stocks are already kind of there's a lot of uncertainty in that, especially with the way the inflation is going and people losing jobs. These investors are about to start selling stocks like crazy, man. And once they start to do that, there goes your 401k. There goes your retirement nest egg. All right. So as the scriptures say, that we have no continuing city here. This is not our rest. The fashion of this world is passing away. Okay. So you're not supposed to put your trust in this place, man, because America is a sinking ship. Border security. The bill includes increased spending on border security, including funding for a border wall and increased detention capacity. Okay, and that's that alligator Alcatraz that opened what's today? Did open on Monday. Okay, and many more like it. All right, these devils got all kind of building projects going on across America that you don't know about. All right, they only let you know what they want you to know. Energy and environment. The bill has faced criticism for potentially harming clean energy jobs and weakening environmental protections. Social safety nets. Cuts to programs like food assistance and other social safety nets could negatively impact low-income individuals and families, which is the point. Okay, so Esau, he gonna cut the SNAP, he gonna cut the Section 8, he gonna cut the WIC, he gonna cut housing assistance and all that type of stuff, man. All that's about to go, and he's gonna put it into war, the war machine. All right. Impact on specific groups. The bill is expected to have a disproportionate impact. Check this out: on women, children, low income individuals, and those relying on Medicaid and other social safety nets, according to PBS. So basically, if you live off the government, okay, but who really lives off the government in this society? Women and children, okay? So you women out there that all about, you don't need no man, and you can do bad all by yourself. Well, now's gonna be your chance to stand on that. Okay, now it's gonna be your chance to show how much of a man that you really are. Okay, since you don't want to be under the authority of a man. All right, now Esau about to let you have it, man. Really, Yahweh Bashmel Shai is about to let you have it. You know what I'm saying? And we constantly do videos and lessons going in on the woman, but listen, this is really the time where women about to feel it. Okay, all that hot girl summer and we outside and we jump and ride the ride. Oh, that's about to be over with, man. All right, and really you already seen it. So women and children, all right, really the poor are going to be the hardest hit from this bill right here. All right, and this all pertains. Let's get it. Jeremiah the 30th chapter. All right, this is the time for you Jakes to be in trouble, man. All right, and you know what I'm saying, you got Jakes out there that say, oh yeah, well we already went through our Jacob's trouble during slavery and all that. Nah, because look, even when you think about salvation, right? When you think about the whole concept of salvation, what Yahushua is coming, when Yahushua comes to deliver the elect, what are you being saved from? Well, you're being saved from trouble. You're being saved from tribulation. All right. So, in order for Yahushua to come get his elect and save them, they must be going through an hour of tribulation, Jacob's trouble. Right? That's what Yahushua is coming to deliver his elect out of the midst of, the Jacob's trouble, man. This is it. So 1619 and slavery and yeah, I mean we have had, you know, really our whole captivity has been nothing but hell. All right, but there's going to be a final trouble to come that's going to affect all you Israelites out there, man. And that's what Yahushua is going to come to deliver us from. All right, Lord, will we be of that number? All right, Jeremiah 30. You know what? Let's start up. Jeremiah 30 and 5. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. All right, so in that day you're gonna see men, all right, with their hands on their loins, hands on their the sides, the sides of their hips, man. Acting like they about to, like their water just broke, like they about to give labor. All right, men gonna be going through pain in that day, man. All right, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You see? So the elect of Israel are going to be saved out of this time, man. All right, showing you, and look, you already see it happening where Esau, he's coming down. All right, now he started with the so-called Latinos, Northern Kingdom. Now he going for Haitians, Jamaicans, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them is about to go to Alligator Alcatraz, you know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of them Haitians is going to be sent to Alligator Alcatraz, you know what I'm saying? Cuz down there in Florida, you know what I'm saying? Like you have a lot of Levites down there in Florida. All right? So, we're in that time of great tribulation coming upon the earth. All right? You go to Revelation, the 3rd chapter, okay? Cuz this thing is going to come upon the whole earth. You see? Revelation 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You know, the scriptures speak about, you know, the elect being tried like gold is tried in the fire. All right, this is to refine us. You know, this is to, make us better. You know what I'm saying? Make us, bring us more closer to Yahweh Bashim Shai to endure. You see? Because ultimately, the kingdom is like the ultimate prize, man. But, you ain't going to get that prize unless you know, gotta go through something, man. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to take some lumps. You might have to get your head cut off. You might have to, be hungry for a while, just be on the move. Like all these things encompass the time of Jacob's trouble, man. It's gonna be a time of great distress, great fear, great anxiety, destruction upon the earth. And it's all gonna come down from the devil, Esau, Edom, which the Lord gonna put the spirit on Esau to come down like that. Okay, but it's gonna come upon all the world, man. Okay, the whole earth. You see? So this big beautiful bill, all right, this is really gonna set things off right here, man. And the effects might not be immediate, but once these things start to kick in, okay, then you're gonna see, as it says in Second Ezra's, let's go to the 15th chapter. You're gonna be seeing seditions among men. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have people rising up. Then on top of that, Esau, he's gonna be doing blackouts and black swan events in the midst of all that. So it's gonna be a whole lot of hell going on. All right, so this is Second Ezra's 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Okay, that's your president, your governor, your mayor, your local state representative. They're not going to regard none of these people because it's going to be realized that they're all corrupt. That none of these people have the best interests of America in their heart. Okay, that they're working for some other entity. Okay, that's being widely known now, and it's too obvious to ignore. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So we're in a time where people, hey, look, all you gotta do is go on Google, and you see that people are pretty much refusing to pay their mortgage, refusing to pay their rent, refusing to pay back their credit card, student loans. People doing what they want to do because they ultimately see with everything going on in the earth that there is no future. So why the hell do I have to even abide by the rules and laws of this wicked ass system? I mean, which, hey, you can't blame them. They're not wrong, but at the same time, that's going to be used as a justification for Esau to come down with great wrath. You see? So I went on ChatGPT and I asked this: what is the Great Reset all about? Because we got to keep in mind that this big beautiful bill what Trump just put through, all right, this thing all goes into the Great Reset, which Klaus Schwab wrote a book on. I believe it was 2019 or 2020, and then the whole fiasco happened. Okay, so this project 2025, this all goes into the Great Reset. So getting into it, the Great Reset is a concept introduced by the WEF, all right, in mid 2020s as a proposal to rebuild and reshape the global economy. Okay, so it ain't just America. This is the whole earth. This is the global economy in the wake of the CV-19 pandemic. It calls for sweeping changes in how societies and economies are organized, with an emphasis on sustainability, social equity, and long term resilience. Now, sustainability. This is what goes into this whole net zero agenda, getting everybody to buy EVs and, you know what I'm saying, putting a carbon footprint in place, you know what I'm saying, and trying to surveil you more. All right. This is what all these things go into, a more sustainable environment, which really means that everything must now be tracked and traced. Nothing can now be off the grid. All right. And these devils, you know, no doubt within this big, beautiful bill, there's laws in there that pertain to just this. All right. Social equity. Okay. Making everything more equal, which is going to come in the form of a social credit score. You know, good citizens are going to be rewarded, bad citizens are going to be punished. Okay. And you know what also happened during the epidemic, the whole George Floyd thing. You know, so there was a great outcry. Oh, the police need to be defunded. And hey, in the big beautiful bill as well, we'll get into it. They're calling on you know, pretty much abolishing social services, which include police. All right, so you can't make this up. All right, social equity. All right, making everybody more equal. All right, nobody's going to be more rich than anyone else besides the elites, and the rest of these peon, you know, useless eaters out here, as the elites say. You're going to be controlled. Right, you're going to be tracked. All right, you're going to be given a you know, monthly stipend, a universal basic income to sustain, you know, what you need to have. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be inside of a 15-minute city. And above all, as Klaus said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. That's going to be for everybody. So that's going to make sure your ass is equal with your neighbor. Okay? So that's the plan that these devils have, man. And long-term resilience, the core idea. The central idea is that the pandemic exposed major flaws in the global system. But who created the global system? Was it not Esau? All right. You know, apparently this thing exposed major flaws, but this whole thing is flawed. This whole thing is corrupt, man. All right. So now, you know, problem, reaction, solution. Okay. Order out of chaos, order out of chaos, such as inequality, unsustainable environmental practices. You know, all of this is hypocrisy, man. All right. Because who made inequality? Esau. All right. Who made the environment unsustainable? Who's deforesting the earth at an alarming rate? Who's destroying the oceans? Who's destroying the air? All right, who's destroying the food? You know, the water. Everything is out of course because of this devil. But you know, this great reset is a solution to the problem that he caused. So, listen, again, Esau is very wicked. All right, his mind is just not right. All right, you can't, you know, you cannot rehabilitate a nigga that think like this. He just got to go. Continuing on, in fragile health systems, and that we have a unique opportunity to, quote, reset these systems rather than go back to the pre-pandemic status quo. And as we always tell you, man, starting with the elders and apostles, there is no going back. Okay, once they set up that whole pandemic, from that point going forward, there is no going back. This is why since 2020 things have only gotten worse. All right, things have not gotten better. Your quality of life has not returned to what it was in 2019, 2018 and prior. This is a whole different world, man. People are different. The way that you move is different. The way you think is different. People are, in general, like, it's just a whole different world, man. And this was only 5 years ago. All right. The three main pillars of the GR: reforming capitalism, moving from shareholder capitalism to stakeholder capitalism, where companies are accountable not only to shareholders but also to employees, communities, and the environment, encouraging businesses to adopt ESG, environmental, social, and governance standards, investing in sustainable development, and harnessing the fourth industrial revolution, embracing digital technologies like AI, automation, and biotechnology, in ways that benefit society broadly rather than just a few. So this thing, that's why they pushing this AI so hard right now, because they want this thing to be the way of life. They want this thing to be the new God on the earth. All right. And we use AI, all right, but we use it to teach and edify, all right, to bring understanding to the body. See, these devils are going to use it for nefarious purposes, all right, really to destroy people more and to gain more control over your life, man. All right. Yeah. Some of the controversy and conspiracies: elitist overreach. Critics argue it's a top-down agenda pushed by unelected globalist elites, and that's a fact. Okay, because the whole thing of this is to, Esau is doing this to gain the birthright, right? He's doing this to gain the birthright to have eternal life, to rule over all nations with an iron fist, right? That's really what this whole thing is about, man. The birthright that was never his to begin with. A threat to sovereignty and freedom. Some believe it could lead to increased government control and surveillance, which is exactly what's happening right now. All right, look at what Trump is doing since he got in there. Has he not become literally a dictator before your very eyes? Is this big, beautiful bill, does it not contain setting up a surveillance state, which is currently in the works? Basis for conspiracy theories, particularly on social media. The term has been used to fuel fears of a NWO, V mandates, and centralized economic. But all these things are already happening, though. All right. So it's not a theory. These things are facts. All these things that are listed here are happening right before your eyes, man. Okay. So, all in all, the Great Reset is essentially a proposal for economic and social reform, aiming to create a more equitable and sustainable world post-CV. Whether it represents a positive vision for the future or an unrealistic elite agenda depends on one's political and ideological perspective. All right, and the true perspective is that this thing is all bad. That it's, it's all to forward the agenda of the elites of Edom. All right, so we're gonna check out this video right here. All right, and when you check out the comments, people know that they through. You know what I'm saying? This goes into the big beautiful bill. Some info about the BBB, my predictions of what to do to survive. And when you check the comments, people got played, and we all paid a price. All right. Welcome to the new world, a new world where everyone has one thing in common: we suffer. This will throw this country into a violent frenzy. This orange turd will bring about the first purge. And see, that's the spirit right there, man. Because brother's been going into the purge recently, you know what I'm saying? And indeed, there is going to be a purge in this society, man. Especially when these devils go lights out. There's no more food, there's no more comfort, and it's pretty much going to be dog eat dog. All right, it's going to be every man, woman, and child for themselves, man. All right, you even going to have families turn on each other. Scriptures tell you that in 2 Ezra 6 that a friend shall fight one against another like enemies, man. So we're in a very cutthroat point in time, man, where hey, if you got it and you ain't got the protection of your Yahweh Shai Shai, best believe somebody's coming to take it from you, man. All right, and as crucial as things will be, they gonna die trying. All right, believe that. The next step is that the blue states will begin to secede. It will start New York, them refusing to pay taxes and refusing to enforce the new bullshit laws. We will be at least 3 countries in the next 20 years. See, America ain't got no 20 years, man. All right, but there is going to be, this very well can happen, though, where states start to secede, from the federal government. And, I can see Florida doing that, Texas, New York, possibly. But that all goes into, let's go, Isaiah, the 19th chapter. Egyptian against Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to have, as you read in 2 Ezra 15, you're going to have seditions. All right? Isaiah 19 and verse 2, just to get to the point. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. Right? And we believe through the Spirit that fierce king, that cruel Lord, to be DJT. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump, man. So yeah, you know that very well could be a real scenario. You know, according to prophecy, man, where states secede, and of course you're gonna have wars and riots in the streets and agent provocateurs. And listen, man, it's about to be a very chaotic time. Our history had already been erased. We was taught their agenda. Think of the truth being complete backwards. This country is becoming diabolical. It's time to stop paying federal. See, this is where people at. you know, as we read again in Second Ezra 15, uh, the course of their actions shall stand in their own power. Man, people gonna stop paying federal taxes. People gonna stop paying taxes altogether. And no doubt, when there's a mass movement of that, that's when Esau he gonna pull the plug on everything. That's when he really gonna go lights out. It's gonna be like, all right, these people aren't buying into the BS anymore. People have woken up to what I'm doing. So now that's when he really gonna come down with the sword, and that's when it's gonna be all guns blazing. Believe that. This last one, we'll get to the video. This is the new order of things. They want to eliminate as many people as they can. All of those people that voted for this will find their lives ruined and suffering just like the rest of us. Right? And that's the whole okey doke about it, right? The fact that this devil, right? Because devil means to be a deceiver, to be an adversary, man. And he indeed deceived majority of these Babylonians, these Americans, into the whole uh, "Make America Great Again" MAGA rhetoric. All right, but now they have what you call buyer's remorse, in which they not messing with Trump like that. They not seeing what his vision is, all right. But in fact, they're seeing that the vision is now to destroy their lives. You know what I'm saying? So this is why there's going to be mass calls to rebel. You know what I'm saying? The whole government is against all of us. It doesn't matter who was invited in. This is our real owner's agendas. So you pretty much get the point, man. People are waking up. People see what's going on. And first and foremost, this whole vibration was pushed through the man of the Lord, the prophets. Okay, now you see these things coming forth. So, we're in the midst of dangerous times, and things are going to get much worse. This is why it's important to, keep your eyes single, keep your eyes on the kingdom, keep your eyes fixated on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, hide yourself in the pavilion, the strong name that is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man, while the evil days come not. So let's check out this video. We'll grab some, closing precepts, and Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying so far.
And FEMA funding. Floods, wildfire, hurricanes, no federal help. Your town will. I normally do straight history, but history right now is happening right here in front of us, and so let's cover it. The reckoning has begun. If you think this won't affect you, congratulations, you're exactly who it's coming for. Trump voters may keep looking away, but the damage is already here. That so-called big, beautiful budget, it's not a budget. It's Project 2025 in disguise, a full authoritarian blueprint dressed up as fiscal policy, and it's about to hit you where it hurts. Let's break it down. When disaster strikes, no one's coming. Sections 80307 to 80309/climate resilience and FEMA funding. Floods, wildfire, hurricanes, no federal help. Your town will burn, drown, or blow away, and all you'll hear is silence. When your healthcare vanishes, That's in the bill too. Sections 44141, 44122, and 44131 add work requirements for Medicaid. If you miss a form, you lose coverage. If you're in a blue state, your funding gets cut. And veterans, they'll face longer waits, fewer doctors, and less mental health support, while Trump brags about how much he spent at his golf course. Gender affirming care, banned. Even for those who serve this country, if you're undocumented or simply poor, Section 44110, make sure you won't get care either. Your hospital may shut down, and when you need a doctor, you'll find that the service no longer exists. And your grocery bill, that's going up too. Trump's tariffs combined with the cuts to food assistance in sections 10008 and 10012 mean higher prices for produce, gas, and everyday goods. And yes, the neighborhood could lose their SNAP benefits at age 64. What about the institutions holding your town together? Section 50002 and 50003, gut funding and oversight. Say goodbye to your pharmacy, post office, or bank, and don't expect anyone to fix it. Then there's your job. Sections 90004 through 90006 allow a massive civil service purge. You could be fired and replaced with an unqualified loyalist, and your pension slashed. Education not spared. Section 30061 bans DEI programs. Your daughter's school will stop teaching critical thinking and start teaching obedience. If she's not white, wealthy, or male, she's left behind. And the books, gone. The federal government will now decide what's woke and erase anything inconvenient, especially your history. Energy protections were repealed. Sections 42108 and 42301 dismantled the clean air laws, opening the door for wildfires, blackouts, and toxic pollution. Your 401k, don't get comfortable. Wall Street doesn't like chaos, and this bill delivers plenty. Markets will tank, and your retirement fund will go with it. Section 20001 escalates Indo-Pacific conflict. Trump lights the match and your kid gets the draft notice. Section 44125 removes the LGBTQ protections and access to care. Gay, trans, and non-binary Americans denied services, expelled from school, pushed out of public life. And while billionaires get MAGA-branded savings accounts, you can't even file your taxes for free. They're cutting food, healthcare, and education to fund tanning bed tax breaks. They even slashed child tax credits and funding for childcare. You're expected to work more with less help and higher cost. Your community center closed. Your summer programs cut. Sections 41009 and 80301 wipe out block grants, historic preservation, and public parks. The professionals who make government work fired. Section 90004 to 90006 dismantle civil service protections. Scientists, disaster coordinators, public health experts replaced by political hacks who do whatever they're told. Section 44001 bans states from regulating AI, education, tech, or data privacy for 10 years. That means your state can't protect you from tech giants even if it wants to. And just in case you were hoping someone, somewhere might hold power accountable, Sections 50002 and 5003 and 80121 gut oversight agencies, the people who catch fraud, investigate pollution, and monitor corporate crime. They're being shut down. Even states that expanded Medicaid get penalized under the Section 44131. If your governor tried to help you, this bill punishes them for it. And Trump said it himself. I have the right to do whatever I want. This bill gives him that power using your tax dollars. This is not a warning. This is happening. It's theft wrapped in a flag. It's censorship, cruelty, control, and collapse. Call your senators at 202-224-3121. Tell them this isn't patriotism. It's pillage. And if you've been silent, now is the time to speak. Because very soon, this won't be about politics. This will be about survival. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, as you heard in that video, all right, it's all bad. Okay. Now, when you go to Daniel 8, let's go to Daniel 8:25. This is all the craftiness, the wiles of the devil here. All right. Daniel 8 and 25. And through his policy, his laws, his legislation, his executive orders, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And that's how these devils do. There's a scripture in the Apocrypha that says, let our strength be the law of justice. You know what I'm saying? So let us use the law to pretty much do what we want to do and step on the necks of everybody else. All right. That's how these Edomites think, man, because they understand that after this, they don't have a portion left. All right. After, this is their world. This is their lot. So they're going to use and abuse the Lord's creation, destroy the Israelites so that, they can be in their bliss. You know what I'm saying? But it's all, for these Edomites, starting with the elites of them, it's all going to end very bad. Their end is it's going to be more than bitter. Okay, Micah 2 and 1. Let's go here. Micah 2 and 1. Woe to the oppressors. Okay, who is the oppressor? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. All right, so these devils are able to do this with such fervency because why? The power has been given to them. Given to them by who? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Okay, once again, Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You see, these devils are so wicked that they oppress even their own. All right, Esau is so wicked that he didn't even let the lower level Edomite get in on a piece of the pie. All right, he pretty much took the whole blessing to himself and left his own kind out. Speaking of Amalek, them small hats. All right, and this is why there's a growing sentiment amongst the Edomites that them and the small hats are not the same, even though they are. But they don't really want to be associated with them because Amalek is a damn demon, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's that division amongst Satan's house being divided. So that's all from the Lord as well. you know, but yeah, these devils oppress a man in his house. How the hell do you oppress a man and his heritage, man? That's beyond wicked, But that's how these devils do. You see, we can close out here because we got to remember, that this is not a flesh and blood war, okay? Which is why we're not supposed to be going and joining in with the rest of these heathen, to pick up arms and go out there and protest and march and do all of that. That's not gonna get you nowhere. It hasn't gotten you anywhere. All right. As long as Jake been marching and protesting and saying hands up, don't shoot, your ass is still at the bottom. All right. So none of that, social activism and trying to plead to the devil to give you a piece of the pie. Listen, that ain't gonna work, man. And furthermore, the Lord ain't with that. So we gotta remember. Let me go to Ephesians 6. That's what I really meant. Ephesians chapter 6. So we gotta remember, man, this is not a flesh and blood war. All right, carnal means is not gonna save us from what this devil coming down with, which is his great wrath. Okay, which is really the great wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because the wicked is the sword of the Most High. But as it says in Ephesians 6 and 11, put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And his BBB, that's a part of his wiles. Okay, again, putting mischievous, devious legislation into a package that he was touting as beneficial to make America great again, but it's actually the opposite. All right. Verse 6, verse 12. So like it, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, going into the elites of Edom. Okay, those of whom the world has been given into the hands of, man. All right, they are the rulers of darkness. They are the powers. Okay, they are the principalities. They're the ones that run these governments. They're the ones that are able to destabilize whole nations. Okay, go around and set up BlackRock. You know what I'm saying? In your nation, steal the resources. You know what I'm saying? Destroy the people. Make sure they have nothing left. All right. This nigga, Esau will rob you, and he won't leave nothing. You know, this nigga won't even leave paint on the walls, man. That's how greedy and covetous that he is. He'll take everything to where there's nothing left. All right. This is who we dealing with. But how do we combat this? Again, it's not by carnal means. It's by the Spirit. Look at what the Spirit is able to do. All right, look, all we doing is preaching this word. All we doing is putting the gospel out there, and this world is rapidly breaking down, man. Because the Lord is hearing our continual complaints. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is hearing our prayers, and the Lord is moving. Right? But you got to be in the spirit to understand what's going on and how the Lord is working in his time, man. You know? You cannot be a natural man and think you're gonna understand the deep mysteries of the scriptures, man. All right, this is all spiritual, you know. So yeah, this ain't flesh and blood. This is a spiritual war. All right, and how we're gonna overcome is through the Spirit, right? The Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmel Shai, which is gonna make us wise unto salvation. All right, so continue to keep your eyes on the news. Continue to watch these devils. Continue to be in the Spirit, man. Because this is a heavy time that we in, and a lot of things are coming down the pipe. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash, call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom to the elect, Kum Yashala, Wa Babu Bo. Shalom.